The morning I walked outside and saw nothing but empty space where my trees used to be. I didn't feel angry at first. I felt confused, like my brain was trying to catch up with what my eyes were seeing. Because just a few days earlier, that entire fence line was full of tall, healthy trees, thick branches, deep shade, birds nesting in them every morning. And now, it was all gone. Just stumps, clean cuts, like someone had erased years of growth overnight. That's when it hit me. This wasn't nature. This wasn't a storm. This was done by someone. Someone who thought they had the right to walk onto my property and take something that didn't belong to them. And I already knew exactly who it was. If you think that's where it ends, trust me, it gets much worse and much more satisfying. Because what I did next made sure they never forgot that decision. Before I get into it, if you enjoy stories like this, make sure you like the video and subscribe to Karen's Stories Daily. It really helps the channel. And you don't want to miss what's coming next. So let me take you back a bit. I've owned this property for a long time, over 10 years. It's not huge, but it's mine. And I've put a lot of time and effort into making it exactly how I want it. One of the things I was most proud of was the tree line along the back fence. I planted some of those trees myself, watched them grow year after year. They gave me privacy, blocked out noise, and honestly made the whole place feel like a peaceful retreat. For years, everything was quiet. No issues, no drama. Then the HOA neighborhood showed up behind my land. Brand new houses, perfect lawns, matching fences, and people who suddenly thought they had a say in things that didn't belong to them. And right in the center of it all was Karen. She lived in one of the houses directly behind my property. Big windows facing my land, second floor balcony, and apparently a very strong opinion about what she should be looking at every day. The first time she came over, she didn't introduce herself properly, didn't ask how I was doing. She just pointed at my trees and said, "Those are blocking our view." I remember just staring at her for a second. I said, "They're on my property." She nodded like that didn't matter and said, "Yes, but they affect what we see." That was the moment I knew. This wasn't going to be simple. I told her politely that the trees weren't going anywhere. They were healthy, they weren't causing any issues, and most importantly, they were mine. She didn't like that answer. After that, things started slowly. Comments here and there. Suggestions that trimming them would improve the neighborhood. Complaints about how dense they were. I ignored most of it. Then she came back with something new. Said the HOA had discussed it and believed the trees were affecting property values. I almost laughed right there. I told her again, this isn't HOA property. You don't get a vote here. That should have been the end of it. But people like that don't stop when you say no. They just look for another way. A couple weeks later, I had to leave town for a short trip. Nothing major, just 2 days. I locked everything up, checked my cameras, and left like I always do. When I came back, everything had changed. The trees were gone. Not trimmed. Not partially cut, completely gone. I walked the entire length of the fence line, just staring at the damage. Every tree I had cared for, every bit of privacy I had built over the years, wiped out. And the way they were cut told me everything. Clean, professional cuts. This wasn't random. This was planned. Someone hired a crew to do this. That's when the anger really hit. I went inside and checked my cameras immediately. And there it was. A full crew, chainsaws, equipment, working along my fence like they had every right to be. There. And standing off to the side, watching it all happen. Karen. No hesitation, no concern, just standing there like she was supervising. That moment changed everything. Because now it wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a disagreement. It was intentional. I sat there for a while, replaying the footage, not rushing, not reacting emotionally, because I knew if I lost control, I'd make a mistake. Instead, I started thinking, she didn't just remove my trees, she removed the barrier, and in doing that, she gave me an opportunity. At first, I considered legal action, and yeah, that was definitely an option. But I also knew something else: legal battles take time, and in the meantime, she'd still have exactly what she wanted, the view. And that didn't sit right with me. So I decided to handle it differently, not recklessly, not illegally. But in a way she would understand. I gave it a couple days. No confrontation, no messages, nothing. Then I got to work. If she didn't like trees, I'd give her something else. Something she couldn't ignore. I started planning a new structure along the fence line. Not just a simple fence. Something solid, something tall. Something that would completely block the view she worked so hard to get. Within a week, materials arrived. Post, panels, reinforcements, and I built it, a full privacy wall, higher than the trees ever were in certain sections, solid from one end of the property to the other. No gaps, no openings, where there used to be natural beauty. Now there was a clean, flat barrier. From my side, it gave me privacy again. From her side, it gave her exactly the opposite of what she wanted. It didn't take long for the reaction. I saw people from the neighborhood standing on their balconies, looking confused, then annoyed. And then, of course, Karen showed up. She walked up to the fence line and just stared at it. Then she saw me and immediately started asking questions. Why I built it, what I was thinking, saying it was too much and unnecessary. I stayed calm and said, I needed privacy. She tried to argue that it was ruining their view. And that's when I said something simple. You already took mine. That hit harder than anything else I could have said. For a moment, she didn't respond. Then she tried to justify what she did. Said the trees were a problem, that they had the right to improve their surroundings. I just shook my head and said, not on my land. She had no real answer to that. Over the next few days, I heard they tried to push back. HOA complaints, discussions, all of it. But none of it mattered. Because the wall was legal. Built entirely on my property. Within regulations. There was nothing they could do. And just like that, the situation flipped. The view she wanted so badly, gone. Forever. Replaced by something she couldn't remove, couldn't complain away, couldn't control. And the best part, after that, silence. No more visits. No more comments. No more entitlement. Karen stopped showing up completely. Sometimes people think they can take what they want without consequences, that they can cross boundaries and walk away like nothing happened. But when you respond the right way, they learn, and they remember. If you made it this far, I want to know, what would you have done in my place? Would you go the legal route, or handle it like this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to share this story with someone who'd enjoy it. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you're subscribed to Karen's Stories Daily.